Hello guys and welcome back. Today we take a look at the new Masteries that just came up on the public test realm. They made a pretty nifty job, I can say, with the new stuff that they have been working at. Without further ado, let's jump into it. The changes are pretty big. So let's start with the offensive tree. First mastery, Feast. 1 pointer. Each time you kill a unit, restore 2 health and 1 mana. That's a big one right there. Fury, 4 attack speed for 5 points. Sorcery, 4 points, 5% cooldown reduction. Butcher, 1 pointer. Basic attacks and single target spells deal an additional 2 damage to minions and monsters. This does not trigger off area of effect damage or damage over time effects. Second tier, double-edged sword. Melee, deal an additional 2% damage and receive an additional 1% damage. Ranged, deal and receive an additional 1.5% damage. That's a bit strange over there. We'll see how that works. Brute Force, 3-pointer, 10 attack damage, 0.55 attack damage per level. And beside it, it's the Mental Force. It's for the ability power 1. 16 ability power, 0.89 ability power per level. Brute 4 leads to Martial Mastery. That gives you 5 attack damage for flat for 1 point. And the Mental Force is the ability power 1, 8 ability power for 1 point. Spell Weaving. 1 point. Damaging an enemy champion with auto attack increase your spell damage by 1%, stacking up to 3 times. Max 3% damage increase. That leads to Blade Weaving. 1 for 1 point. Damaging an enemy champion with a spell increase your basic attack damage by 1%, stacking up to 3 times. Max 3% damage increase. This cannot be triggered more than once per second. Warlord, 3 points. Increase your bonus attack damage by 5%. Archmage, 3 points. The same as the attack damage 1. For the mages, increase ability power 5%. Executioner, spell that was the ability that was right there, the talent, now it's over here for 3 points. Increase damage dealt to champions below 50% health by 5%. Let's take out some points over here. That leads to Dangerous Game. Killing a champion restores 5% of your missing health and mana. And that goes into Arcane Blade for 1 point that you can take on offensive tree. Your basic attacks also deal bonus magic damage equal to 5% of your ability power. Which means that if you are, let's say, Zerath with 500 ability power, 5% of this goes to your auto attack damage, your basic attack. That should be pretty notable damage increase. Frenzy, 1 pointer. Critical hits increase your attack speed 5% for 30 seconds. Sack up to 3 times. That's pretty big. So for carry, etc. 3 pointer. Devastating strikes, 6% armor and magic penetration. And the last point that goes to Havoc, 3% increased damage. Alright, let's go into defense. Block, 2 points. Reduce incoming damage from champions' basic attacks by 2. Recovery, 2 points, 2 health per 5 seconds. And Enchanted Armor, increase your bonus armor and magic resistance by 5%, pretty nice. Tough Skin, reduce damage taken from neutral monsters by 2. This does not affect lane minions. Of course, for the junglers, that leads to Bladed Armor. Enemy monster that attacks you bleed, dealing damage equal to 1% of their current health each second. Nice. And Block leads to Unyielding for 1 point. Melee, reduce all incoming damage from champions by 2. Range, reduce all incoming damage from champions by 1. Also the second tier, we have for 3 points the Veteran Scars, a flat 36 health. That leads to Juggernaut, 3% maximum health. That's a pretty big one for the tanks, of course. Very nice talent. Also the third tier we have Oppression, reduces damage taken by 3% from enemies that have impaired movement. slow snare, stones, etc. From enemies and yes, okay, so that's a nice damage reduction. Hardness, flat 5 armor, resistance, flat magic resistance. So now resistance leads to evasive for 1 point, reduces damage taken by 4% from area affected magic damage. And hardness leads to reinforced armor, 1 point, reduces damage taken from critical strikes by 10%. Also, this tire we have swiftness, reduce the effectiveness of slows by 10%, and perseverance, 3% of your missing health every second, that leads to second wind, increases all sorts of incoming healing by 10% when below 25 health, which is pretty good. Also, in this tire we also have, let's take some points out of here, we have Tenacious, 4 armor and 2 magic resistance for each nearby enemy champion. That seems like the Wukong passive. Runic Shield. Start the game with 50 health shield. This shield generates each time you spawn. I don't know for this one. We'll see. And Legendary Guardian, the last talent, reduces the duration of crown control effects by 15%. That's pretty nice. That's a nice bonus to tenacity over there. So the defensive tree seems pretty robust until now. It has nice health regenerations that scale with your HP. It has nice movement speed and CC reductions, bonus to tenacity. Pretty nice. So actually right now the melees and the tanks will have a nice. It will be worth it, let's say, to spec full defense, I think. All right, so let's go to the utility tree. That has been pretty tough to balance for Riot until now, I think. So, Phase Walker reduces the casting time of recall by 1 second. Alright, Fleet of Foot, 1.5 movement speed. Now it's tier 1, so you can take it from whichever hero you want. Let's say you want to play Hecarim with attack damage. You can split attack damage and still have the movement speed, which is pretty cool. Meditation, 3 mana regen per 5. And Scout, increase the cast range of wards and relic items by 10%. Meditation leads to Strength of Spirit, gain health regeneration equal to 10% of your mana regeneration. You have Conjurer also, summoned units and traps have 10% increased duration. This does not work on wards though, so pay attention on that one. Summoner's Insight, reduce the cooldown of Summoner's spells by 10%. And Alchemist, increase the duration of your potions and elixirs by 10%. So you take a little bit of duration more on your potions. Alchemist leads to Culinary Master. Your health potions are upgraded into biscuits that restore 20 health and 10 mana instantly upon consumption. Right, for 1 point, I think it's worth it. 3 points, Vampirism, 3% lifesteal and Spell Vamp. Alright. For the Jungler's Greed, increase the duration of Shrine, Relic Quest, and Neutral Master buffs by 20%, so that's good for everyone. Relic Affinity, 1.5 gold every 10 seconds, nice support spell, Mastery. And Wealth, 1 gold each time an ally kills a nearby lane minion, so that would make supports pretty happy, I think. Banded, plus 40 starting gold, alright. Expanded Mind, plus 5% increase maximum mana. That's a good one. Inspiration, gain 10 experience every 10 seconds while near a higher level allied champion. So this will help you as to keep you actually in the same level as your carry. Because since you don't last hit at the bottom lane, sometimes you can fall behind on the levels, and this evades that. Alright, so the Bandit leads you to Scavenger, or how else you pronounce it, I don't know. Melee grants an additional 15 gold on champion killer assist. Ranged, you gain 3 gold each time you attack an enemy champion. This cannot trigger on the same champion more than once every 5 seconds. So that's an extra boost for your money. for the support, etc. A nice one. They said that they want to make supports better for the next season. Intelligence, plus 5% cooldown reduction, it reduces the cooldown on activated items by 10%. And the last pointer, Wanderer, 1 pointer plus 5 movement speed out of combat. It's a pretty good buff over there. Alright guys, these were the masteries for the new masteries that they are preparing for the public test realm. As you can imagine, these are pretty early stages. There are icons missing. Many numbers maybe will change as the test server goes on. For the change, etc., I will keep this post updated. Remember to subscribe if you like this episode and if you find it informative. I really hope you did, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, guys.